Hello everyone and welcome to another Watercolor Wednesday. I am Allison with the blog A Glimpse Inside, and today I'm going to show you how to create this fun little cactus deserty scene with them sitting in the pot and some rocks and stuff. We need quite a few stamps for this one, but only 5 color markers. So let me show you what we need and we'll get started. So for our stamps, we're going to need from the original flower set, we're going to use this little bunch right here. From the original foliage set, the tiny little grasses. And then from the Southwest set, we're going to use practically all of these stamps. We're going to use the pot, the large cactus, kind of like the little aloe vera leaves, this rock, and then also this little thing. The only thing we're not using is this one. Feel free to use it though if you want. You can put it on the ground or something. And then for the colors that we're going to use, I use number 45 sepia, number 17 steel blue, number 72 pine green, number 86 African violet, and then number 15 olive green. Again, I use the Marbula Plume 2s, but you can use Tombows or any other water-based markers that you have. Okay, so this painting is on a 4x4 square, and I just used Canson watercolor paper, but feel free to use whatever you want. So to begin, we're going to do the pot, and we're going to ink it up in 2 colors. So I'm going to start with African violet number 86, followed by number 45 sepia. And then we're going to just stamp it right kind of below center here because we want to leave plenty of room for our cactus and things. So once that's stamped, we're just going to pinch our brush in water, pinch it off, dip our brush in water and pinch it off, excuse me, and then drag the color out of the lines. So since this pot already has these shadow lines, I'm just kind of dabbing around them so I don't truly lose those lines. I will have to go back in at the end and draw them back in, and that's totally fine. But I want to still be able to see them a little bit so I can see where to draw them back in. So I want darker sides, and then it's going to go into like a lot lighter center because it is a round pot. So if you have harsh lines and you're trying, you don't want these harsh lines, just dip your brush back in water and then just spread your color out. That will help you spread the color out. Okay, so on my palette over here, I'm going to add a little bit of sepia as well as African violet. And I'm just going to mix these two together to give more shadows and dimension to my pot here. So along the bottom, it's going to be really dark. Okay, so again, since I have some more harsher lines, I'm just going to go back in and just kind of feather them a little bit because I don't want such contrast between. If you want, you can add a little bit more just brown. You can make this pot like a terracotta color. I just decided to kind of keep everything a little more neutral and monotoned for this painting, but feel free to add a pop of color, make it red, make it turquoise, since Southwest kind of loves their turquoise and stuff. Just play with it however you want to do it. All right, I'm just going to kind of brush this towards the center a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to leave my pot alone for now. Next, we are going to come to our big cactus piece here. And we're again, and then we're going to ink it up in just number 45 sepia. So I'm going to use the side of my marker and just go over the whole thing. Before I do that, I'm going to cover up my pot because I don't want my cactus to come over the top of the pot. So you can do Post-it note. I didn't have it on hand, or Post-it tape. I didn't have it on hand. So I'm just going to do a Post-it note. Stick it right over the pot, and then I'm going to stamp my cactus over on the right side of my pot. And then before I remove that, I am going to, excuse me, and then I'm going to put my little green like aloe vera leaves also in. So for this one, I'm actually going to ink it up in 2 colors. I'm going to do sepia, followed by olive green, because this gets more of like a deeper olive, almost like khaki or green. And then I'm going to stamp that in on this side of our pot. Add as much or as little as you like. I just did it 3 times just to kind of make it look like it's a really large plant. And then I'm going to remove that. Okay, so we're going to start here with our cactus. And I'm going to paint, or I'm going to put olive green on my palette, as well as pine green on my palette. I'm going to start with the olive green, and then I'm just going to dab. I'm not painting in the whole face of the cactus. I'm not going to go all the way to the top. I want to leave like a little bit of a highlight. And then I don't want to accidentally make the little pricky part. What are those called? Thorns? Spines? I don't know. I don't want to make all the little pricky things go away either. So where it's dark on your sides, you know, you can make them darker. So I'm going to do that first with olive green. Now I'm coming back with pine green to kind of give it a little more dimension. And again, I'm not painting this in solid. I just kind of want to make it, you know, textured and pop a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to let that dry for just a second and I'll come back to it. So for this one, we're just going to dab it. Like, I don't want to brush stroke it because I don't want to leave, it has like a little bit of texture on it. And so I don't want to lose that texture. So I'm just going to dab. And so that way you still see like those lighter colors shining through. If it didn't go all the way down to your pot, just extend the color to go all the way down. You can make them a little taller if you want. You know, just work it out. Drag that color out. Okay, and now we're going to go back to my cactus. So I'm going to take a little bit of sepia, and I'm going to add it like right where I want it to, you know, where it would be a dark shadow. So this one's kind of overlapping this piece over here, so I'm going to add that a little darker. This side over here, there's one little piece right there. It's hard to tell. This one's going to overlap, so I want that one darker. You know, if you just, I'm going to give a little shadow to the bottom of that one. This side, I'm going to give a shadow to. So just kind of look at it. This one, I'm going to give a shadow. And just kind of add shadows and colors. If you add too much brown, go back with just your green. You know, the beauty of this is you can just keep layering. And then if you want it super dark in an area, add some African violet. African violet's like the perfect shadow color. Okay, I'm going to leave those, I think, like that. If I want to, I can come back to them later. All right. So next we are going to do this little long stem. Not sure what this little long stem is, but and then we're going to do this in just pine green. So I'm just going to ink the whole thing. And then, actually, I'm going to take the stem off. And then I'm just going to kind of have this poking out the top here. Add some extra height to our pot. If you want, you could have it coming out the side or just the top, you know, whatever you want to do. I'm going to have it, let's see here. I'm going to move my, it's coming out from behind our cactus back here. Okay. So, dip your brush in water, pinch it off, and again, we're just going to dab. Okay, so we're going to leave our pot for now, and we're going to come down, and we're going to add our rock in, and we're going to do just like we did with the pot and ink it up in 2 colors. So I'm going to start with African Violet, then Sepia, and I'm going to do this just kind of next to the pot down here. You can add like a couple rocks. You can almost make them like boulder up on each other if you'd like. And then we're going to dip our brush in water, pinch off. And with this one, the colors are pretty dark and the lines are pretty thick. So I'm actually going to not add too much more color to this. So I'm just going to try to leave kind of the tops of them more white for the highlight, and let's see, if I need to, I do want like to add a little bit more of a shadow, so I'm just going to make a little bit more and darken up some of these. Because remember, the more times you go over something, the darker it will get. So, okay. I'm going to feather that just a smidgen. Okay, so now I'm going to take my tiny grasses, and I'm going to ink this up in sepia. I'm going to add this just into like the bottom of the pot to kind of give it like a little bit of grass in the pot. It's kind of hard to see it, but it just kind of fills that little gap right there. And then I'm going to put this down around the pot. Kind of around the rock down here. Okay, and then before I put my sepia away, I'm going to do these little, this is actually like a little flower bloom. I think they just make the perfect rocks. So I'm just going to add these in as like little pebbles that this pot is just kind of hanging out in. Because, you know, out in the West, they frequently, I mean, they don't have grass, so they frequently use rocks and stuff for drainage and in their gardens, and so less water and stuff. So then we're just going to add those in. So for the grasses, I'm just going to drag the color up and out like you normally do for the grasses. Okay, and don't forget the little bit in the pot. Again, it's kind of hard to see, but just kind of fills in that little gap right there. All right, and then for the rocks, I'm just going to dab over them. If you want, when you did these rocks, you could also mix the colors. Add like a tiny bit of African violet like onto it, so it kind of gets it more gray again, but I think it's good this way. So then our last painting step will be, I'm going to put some steel blue on my palette. Rinse my brush out here. And this will be for the sky. So remember, with your sky, try not to get too close to the lines of what you already have painted, so we don't pull out the color and it bleeds into your sky. You can paint the whole sky, you can just do a tiny bit of sky. You know, it's up to you and how you want to your painting to look. I'm just going to paint around the whole thing here, but I'm going to leave it like that. Okay, so last, you just kind of give yourself a once over here. So I'm going to take the thin tip of my African violet. I'm just going to kind of go back over these lines on my pot just to kind of darken them up just a little bit here. And then I'm going to make this bottom section of my pot pretty dark. All right, and then if there's anything on like this rock, this upper part kind of got washed out a little bit. Same thing there. So if there's anything that you accidentally, and then if any of your cactus got a little wiped away, this is a good time. So I'm just taking a thin part of my sepia. You can also, you know, darken in some areas and make it a little more shadowy with this. If you want, make them pop a little more. And then I'm going to take this and sign and date. And there you have it. You have this fun little cactus painting. It'd be really cute in a frame. You could also make it into a card. You know, whatever you want to do. I think it's just, I love these fun little paintings. They're just so cute to like frame up and give away as a gift and brighten someone's day. So I hope you have an awesome day. Thank you for joining me. Stay tuned next week when we have an all new Watercolor Wednesday post. Bye.